Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Colleen at MikeColleen.com, and as I promised, I'm going to teach you a technique on how to basically fluster and smash a narcissist at his own game. Okay. All right, so here's the deal. This is something I learned in NLP. One of the things a narcissist will do is they will ask you the question why over and over and over and over. And what it does, the more you ask the word why, it drills you down into the details, and they're like pounding your head into the why. Another thing you can do is specific. Well, why specifically? And they talk about the details, because the left brain is about the details. Now, here's the thing about a narcissist. They are stuck there. They can't get out. They don't want to get out, because if they get out, that means they have to go over to the right brain, which is about emotions and feelings, which they don't want to deal with. That's the whole thing, is they got hurt when they were a kid emotionally, and they said, fuck that. And so they ran over to the left brain. It's what I've been teaching men in my courses is men hide behind their logic, and they don't deal with their emotions. Your average male would do this. It's very hard for most men to deal with their emotions, especially in the modern era. Now, a narcissist, I'm not saying that men are narcissists by any means, because there's just as many women that are narcissists too, okay? But here's the deal. A narcissist escapes and never deals with their right brain. Your average male will deal with it when they're in choir, when they're in art class, when they're doing a lot of things. A narcissist will do music analytically. They'll do art analytically if they do art, okay? Most narcissists that I know don't like music. They don't play music in the car. They don't play music at home. They're just not into that kind of stuff. So the left brain is when you're asking the question why. The left brain, the further you go, the more down into the details. The right brain is more about the bigger picture and the vague and abstract. And that's why the pupils open up and they dilate, because you're seeing bigger picture, like when you're looking at the sunset. Okay? Which, here's a tip right now. If you are dealing with narcissist abuse, I recommend that you go to the beach a lot, that you just stare out to the horizon and you stay out there for at least an hour. Do some deep breathing, because it opens you up. Go to a field, go to a grassy area where you can see for miles to the left or to the right and behind you. Lay on the grass, hopefully when the sun's down this way, so you're not looking at the sun, and just look up and just like zone out for about 30 or 40 minutes. All of this helps you to open up instead of getting stuck. Again, this is a narcissist's worst nightmare. They don't want you to see the bigger picture, okay? So what I'm really doing is not only teaching people how to be internal and have internal awareness, but I also help people to energetically become emotionally grounded. And this is what opens up the door to your happiness, freedom, and your power. It also opens you up to your heart and love. And this is something a narcissist does not want you to ever do again, because then you can escape their grasp. Okay. So now let's get to the technique. Okay, so watch this. Remember about 2 videos ago where I was talking about a narcissist will ask you a question and then interrupt, and then they will disagree and argue? Well, they're going to say, well, why? And they're going to interrupt, argue, why? Interrupt, argue, why? Interrupt. Because what they're doing is they're purposely drilling you down to where you're stuck in your left brain, because that way you can't see the bigger picture and you can't see them pulling your puppet strings. Now you're blind. You don't want to be over there all the time. Maybe when you're doing math, business, and science, but even then when you come home, you want to come out of it, because now when you're open, you can see the things that happened earlier in the day at work. Well, someone was pulling the wool over my eyes, or someone's doing this. A narcissist wants to keep you in blindness. They want to keep you in darkness, which is drilling you into the ground. The way it was described to me was, I think it was an NLP or Tony Robbins. I think it was Tony Robbins, maybe. There's a movie called something. Oh God, I think Robert De Niro's. It was a boxing movie, something Bull Run, or God, I can't remember the name of it. But it was a boxer back in, I think, the 50s or 60s. He was a middleweight, right? He always wanted to be a heavyweight, world champion. He ended up being a world champion, but not a heavyweight. So he was always kind of upset about that. He ended up getting arrested, right? And he was in jail, and he was punching the wall. At first he started going, well, why? Why does this always happen to me? Why? It was Tony Robbins. And he goes, look, that will just drill you down into the pain even further. So if you are in a problem, if you are emotionally stuck in like a pain, a fear, anything like that, all you have to do is this. For what purpose? Those are the vague and abstract questions that bring you out of the stuck state. So if you're stuck in anything, a business problem, a math problem, an emotional problem, dealing with purpose, say, well, what's my purpose for this? Right? So it was called Raging Bull. So he ended up punching the wall. Why? Because the further you go, you get madder and madder. Why? And I remember he's punching the wall, just blooding up his knuckles. I'm like, oh my God. It will drill you down into the problem even farther. And you can't fix the problem when you're stuck in the problem. But when you pop up higher and higher, now you can see the bigger picture. Like, oh, here's a better solution right here. Or here's one, or here's one, here's one. But when you're stuck in the problem, that's all you see is the problem. It's like having a piece of lint on your carpet, and you go all the way down and you get a microscope, and that's all. And all of a sudden, instead of being a piece of lint, when you get the microscope, it looks like it's big. It's like you can have a tiny spider, but when you bring it all the way up to your eye, it looks fucking massive. Oh my God, it's a big spider. When it's a little spider, it's over there. Well, that's what causes phobias. Let's say there's a tiny little spider over there, like about 15 feet from me. Well, what someone with a phobia would do is unconsciously, they'll imagine it's right here and it's this big, right? And now they're going, oh my God. I'm like, well, where is it? Like, well, it's over there. I'm like, well, but where is it in your mind? Well, it's right here. I'm like, well, shrink it up, push it all the way over there. And they'll, well, it doesn't make me scared then. I'm like, exactly. Same thing with problems. So here's how you get away from a lot of times you have a problem, it'll end up being the smallest little thing. And when you pop out, you're like, what was I worried about? Because you eventually popped out of it somehow. So the way you get out of that is say, for what purpose? What's my purpose for that? What's my higher purpose? Keep asking these questions. For what purpose? What's my higher purpose? What's my higher purpose for that? Or what's a higher purpose? Keep asking those 3 or 4 questions. Well, for what purpose? What's your purpose for this? You could say, what's my purpose for this? What's my purpose for that? And then you get an answer. Well, what's my purpose for that? What's my purpose for that? So, okay, I'm going to do it right now. I'm making videos for you guys. So what's my purpose? To help people that are suffering from narcissistic abuse. Okay, for what purpose? Well, because I don't want them to be in pain. Well, what's your purpose for them not being in pain? So they can escape pain. Okay, so once they escape from pain, what's your higher purpose from that? So they can enjoy their life. Now we're getting to the positives. So now that they're free from pain and narcissistic abuse, your purpose for that is so they can enjoy their life. I'm like, well, yeah, I already feel better right now. That little bit made me feel better. I used to do this with myself a lot in the past. So keep going. So you want to keep going until you kind of recycle the same 2 or 3 answers, right? Well, so once they're free from pain, what's your higher purpose for that? Or what's your highest purpose for that? My highest purpose for that is so they're free to live their lives. For what purpose? Well, so they can enjoy it. For what purpose? So they can go do what they want. For what purpose? So they can maybe be creative, maybe express themselves emotionally. And so they're free of all emotional pain, so they can just go live and be free. If you've noticed, I'm cycling now. Live, be free, enjoy their life, live, be free, go do what they want. That's how you know you're at the highest purpose. And the other thing is, I feel, and I bet you feel better right now too, don't you? So here's what you do. You say, when they say something, they say, well, why? Then you say, well, what's your purpose for asking that question? Women, by the way, love this usually, especially in conversation. Well, what's your purpose for sharing that with me? Oh, because women, the right brain is the female brain. Women love that brain, right? So that's a little thing. And it also puts you on the same page and it helps you to understand where she's at. With narcissists, though, it'll fluster them because they're trying to bring you down by asking why, interrupt, argue, why, interrupt, argue, because they're trying to, what they're doing is just that little bit. I can feel it tightening here and in my solar plexus. And that's what they want to do. They want to make it to where you can't breathe. And you kind of panic attack and you don't breathe. Now, here's why they don't want you to breathe. If you're not breathing deep, there's an artery in the lower reptilian brain. And what happens is it shuts down because there's literally an oxygen sensor on that artery. If it senses in your bloodstream, in your blood that's going through it, has low oxygen, it'll narrow to keep the blood down here to put the number 1 fuel, which is oxygen and glutamine, glycogen. Glycogen, yeah. So for every molecule of oxygen, there's 2 glycogen molecules piggyback riding on the oxygen. So if you're low in oxygen, you're also low in this, and these are the number 1 and number 2 foods. So it says, we've got to shut the artery to keep the blood down in your muscular system, so for fight and flight. And now you're operating from your lizard reptilian brain, and when you're there, that's their number 1 goal. You can't get out. You can't see their mind games that they're playing. But how you do it is you say, well, what's your purpose for asking me that? And if they go, now watch this, just keep asking it. They'll go, well, I just want to know. And you say, oh, well, for what purpose? They're already going to be flustered. In fact, the first time you ask the question, they're probably going to be, just because you're revealing their game. And not only that, but no one in their life has ever been smart enough to ask that one question. Well, what's your higher purpose for that? So the questions what and for what purpose, those are good ones. Well, what's your purpose for that? They'll say, I just want to know. Oh, well, for what purpose do you want to know? Well, because. Well, because for what purpose? And well, I don't know. Say, well, I know that you don't know, but what's your purpose for not knowing? Just throw that word out there and repeat what they say with it. Play with it. And they say, well, I want to know. Well, so, and you could say this. Well, once you know, what's your higher purpose for that? And I'm telling you, in my opinion, they will get stuck. They'll be, Okay, so here's the ever all-powerful one. Instead of just saying for what purpose, maybe the first time say, well, what's your purpose for asking that? Then say, what's your highest purpose for asking that? Oh, what's your highest purpose for that? Oh, well, what's your highest purpose for that? And when they say, well, I don't know, say, well, what's your highest purpose for not knowing? That will throw them in a freaking loop, okay? Whenever you go for the highest purpose, you'll finally end up at their game. Oh, and I forgot. Number 1, it reveals them. Number 2, it brings them over to their right emotional brain, and that terrifies them. Get stuck, I'm telling you, because they're so used to being in the why and the specific and details. And those are the 3 words, why, specific, and details. Those will drill you down, and you will get stuck in anger and frustration because that's their goal. They're trying to tighten you up so you can't even breathe. So start asking for what purpose. You can ask yourself, like for this video, what's my purpose for watching this video? What's my purpose for that? What's my purpose for that? What's my purpose for that? And keep going until you start feeling better, and it'll start to cycle. Well, to be happy, to enjoy my life, so I can be free of narcissists. Well, what's your purpose for being free of narcissists? Well, so I don't have to live in fear. Okay, so once you don't live in fear, what's your higher purpose for that? Well, so I'm not in fear. Okay, so once the fear is completely gone, you're not in fear anymore, now what are you going to experience? Well, I'm going to feel happiness. I'm going to feel free. I'm going to feel good inside. Well, once you feel good inside, what's your highest purpose for that? Well, then I can go live my life. I can enjoy myself. I can do the things you've always wanted to do. Hey, this is Mike Colleen at MikeColleen.com, MikeKollin.com. Ask that question. What's your purpose for asking that question? For what purpose? Just say for what purpose. It'll bring you, and if they go up with you, and it could be just a regular friend, believe it or not, but you'll watch them after a few times. They'll breathe deep, because when you go up there, your body relaxes and you feel good. That's my purpose for doing these videos, to help you to feel good about yourself, to help you feel good about life. Smash that subscribe button, click that all, click like, make a comment, let me know if you're enjoying these videos, and go to my website at MikeKollin.com, MikeKollin.com. I love you guys. God bless you. We are just around the corner. Things will get better, I promise you. Not just from watching my videos. There's something going on the earth and on the planet right now. We got a few more months to go. Hang in there. I promise you. I don't care if you got to cry your eyes out in your bed every single day. We are getting there. Things will get better. I promise you. God bless you.